Hello and welcome to Not Awful Data with Dr. Jess Hartnett, the podcast dedicated to helping you spruce up your stats teaching by giving you some fun, insightful data sets that you can use in your psychological statistics classes and beyond. Hello, on this episode of Not Awful Data with Jess Hartnett, I'm going to share some data that is great for demonstrating ANOVAs as well as social norms and emotional expression. And this data, it also shows that if you aren't paying for a service, you are the product of the service, and places and websites like Instagram, all your data is pretty much free game to be used with data scraping and research, which I think cannot be emphasized enough when we're teaching our classes and working with data. It's kind of a subtopic. Anyway, here we go. The data comes from resume.io, a website indeed about job searches. And Lottie Van Rijswijk wrote this article called The Happiest Schools in the US, UK, and Australia. All right. So, super applicable to our student body, right? Also interesting because of what they did. What they did is to rank the schools, they used geocaching in Instagram. So they searched for regions and areas near schools. So I went to Penn State as an undergraduate. They could have looked for State College, right? Or University Park. They could have done like the geographical search of Instagram photos that way. And they downloaded photos that were tagged for being taken from that university's campus. And then they ran them through the, let me get this right, Amazon Recognition API. And, quote, they used that facial recognition tool to analyze Instagram selfies tagged by students at the top colleges in the US, UK, and Australia. The tool provides a confidence level from 0 to 100 on how likely a face is to be expressing happiness. We considered a face to be happy if its confidence level was equal to or above 75. So, little mini baby research method section, right? And what did they come up with? Well, they gave us lists of the top colleges in the US, UK, and Australia. Number one, hey, Fort Worth, the Texas Christian University has 76.47% smiling faces, followed by, perhaps surprisingly, the Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in Troy, New York. Bunch of happy engineers, I guess. So the list goes on, and they have all of these different rankings. Is this the perfect and only way to rank happiness? Heck no. But this is a great conversation to have with your students about how it could be rated, and the pros and cons of doing this. And also, one of the cons is going to be, yes, but doctor, professor, whoever you are, what about the bias about what people put on Instagram and people wanting to only put their best lives on Instagram? Well, that's fine, but that still demonstrates an underlying bias perhaps in how we're supposed to express ourselves emotionally in photographs and what the norm is for what we're going to share with the world, right? And that you can analyze via ANOVA. If you go to the blog, if you go to the podcast website, it'll give you a link to the blog where I've added the data. They share the data for the top 100 schools from US, UK, Australia, kind of all smushed together. And I added their original data, which has the rank order, name of the college, and the percentage of happy faces. I also added a column that ranks if the data came from US, UK, or Australia. This, in your stats class, can be a great way to run an ANOVA, right? Spoiler alert, ANOVA shows that Australian and American students smile a lot and similarly, and they both smile in a statistically significant more frequent way than their UK counterparts. So there's a couple of ways we can use this. Again, it's a great example for ANOVA. It does, if you go to the website, it gives a really accessible, easy to read methodology for what it is that they looked at. It's entertaining data in and of itself, I would say, because it's showing you all of the smiling data for undergraduates around the world. And it's also a gentle reminder to your students that data lives everywhere. Data exists everywhere. And it's being constantly collected and analyzed for purposes that med scientists think up in the middle of the night and then they decide to do things like ranking the happiest. Also, Because I know that you're wondering, who are the saddest sex of university students? Well, he already said that Australian America ranks happier. But at the University of Birmingham, 19.9% of the students are smiling in the photos. Maybe they just don't care about social norms. Maybe they need a hug. I don't know. I might do an ANOVA, but that doesn't mean causality. Anyway, next week. Bye.
Want more Not Awful Data? Well, good news. Jess Hartnett is authoring a stats book. Coming this December, Psychological Statistics for Everyone is chock full of fun, real-world examples like the one you just heard. You can order your instructor exam copy at siegel.wwnorton.com/psych sessions not awful data. That's all lowercase, all one word.